It is now 3 o'clock, and I call the Board of Trustees meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, will you take the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hoagie?
Here.
Ms. Hurd? Mr. Corrado?
Here.
Mr. Depp?
Here.
Ms. Pearson? Present. Ms. Howard? Ms. Jones?
Here.
Ms. Simpson?
Here.
And Mr. Williamson?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Prior to today's meeting, the minutes for the Board of Directors meeting of January 6, 2015 were mailed to all the board members. Is there any board member who would want us to read the minutes, or are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing no such request and no corrections or additions, I rule that the minutes are approved as submitted. The next item on our agenda is sort of a bittersweet item. One of our board members who has a new position on the board, new position in the community at Central State University, has moved outside the borough of, outside Montgomery County, and therefore must resign from the board. So Jamie, we want to thank you for your past accomplishments. We certainly wish you well in everything you do, and as your byline on your email to me said, I'd like to quote it. I think it's good advice for all of us, and she quoted Les Brown when she said, "Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." I thought it was very cute, very appropriate. Thank you for all your participation. Thank you for the little ones you brought over the years. They were so they were so well behaved, and it added a new dimension to our board meetings. And thank you for keeping us involved in all of the football happenings that took place too. Thank you. We have a small token of our appreciation for you.
Well, let me just say a few little words, Actually, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be able to sit on the board. I have learned so much information, and I will never, ever look at a poll different or the wires. I'm telling you, it's like, wow, so much wealth of information just as far as being on the board and being able to be details for our community and just details as far as the work and everything. So I want to say thank you so much, Mark, and my board members as well. And it's just been real grateful just to be able to sit here on the board and be able to learn information about the RTA. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the committee reports, and the first is the Finance Personnel Committee. Sharon.
The Finance Personnel and Planning Committees met on January 20th with the Finance Personnel Committee bringing forward 3 action items for consideration by the Board of Trustees. Action item number 2, resolution number 2015-2-1, 5307, Capital Assistance Grant. 49 United States Code USC 5307 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital and planning assistance based on formulas used in the statute. Resolution number 2015-2-1 provides authorization for staff to file a fiscal year 2015 USC 5307 capital assistance application. The 2015 program of projects is consistent with the RTA capital plan. The total federal funding required for these projects is $13,185,000. Bob Brzezinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in your budget board package. Bob is available to answer any questions the board may have. Based upon the discussion at the Finance Personnel Committee meeting, I request a motion that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution number 2015 2015-2-1, authorizing the filing of a 49 USC 5307 capital grant application for the RTA fiscal year 2015 program of projects with the Federal Transit Administration. Furthermore, I also request a motion that the executive director be authorized to provide all necessary documents, execute a grant contract, amend the grant contract if deemed necessary, and fulfill all other requirements of the application.
Okay. Motion made by Vince. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Dave. Okay. Is there any further discussions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Action item number 2 is unanimously approved.
Action item number 3, resolution number 2015-2-2, 5337 and 5339, capital assistance grants. 49 United States Code 5337 and 5339 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital assistance to support and maintain fixed guideway assets and other capital assets in a state of good repair. The Greater Dayton RTA can use this funding for the purchase of electronic trolley buses, modernization of trolley infrastructure, the capitalization of maintenance costs, and other supporting facilities and equipment projects, as well as to maintain capital assets in a state of good repair. Resolution number 2015-2-2 provides authorization for staff to file fiscal year 2015 USC 5337 and 5339 capital assistance applications. The 2015 program of projects is consistent with the RTA capital plan. The total federal funding required for these projects is $11,610,000. Bob Brzezinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in your board package. Bob is available today to answer any questions the board may have. Based upon the discussion at the Finance Personnel Committee meeting, I request a motion that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution Number 2015-2-2, authorizing the filing of a 49 USC 5337 and 5339 capital grant application for the RTA fiscal year 2015 program of projects with the Federal Transit Administration. Furthermore, I request a motion that the executive director be authorized to provide all necessary documents, execute a grant contract, amend the grant contract if deemed necessary, and fulfill all other requirements of the application.
So motioned.
Motion made by Ed. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
A motion been seconded by Dave. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Are there any abstentions? Action item number 3 is unanimously approved.
Action item number 4, revised Board of Trustee Policy Number 27, public comment. At our meeting, Mark Donahue presented a revised Board Policy Number 27 regarding public comment, which is included in today's board package. The policy has been thoroughly discussed and reviewed at the past couple of committee meetings and has legal counsel concurrence. Based upon the discussion at the Finance Personnel Committee meeting, I request a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the revised Board of Trustees Policy Number 27, public comment.
So moved.
Moved by Janet. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Action item number 4 is unanimously approved.
That concludes the action items. However, at our meeting, Ms. Stanford also reported that October 2014 sales tax receipts are up 20.4% over last year, making year-to-date October 2014 receipts up 6.3%. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for ending on such a high note. We really appreciate that. Good. Janet, we now have Planning Committee report.
Okay. The Finance Personnel Committees met on January 20th, and although we don't have any action items, we do have a couple of updates to bring forth. Mr. Eckler reported on the various support activities that RTA provided in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. RTA provided additional services for students at Wright State University and deployed additional fleet at the Dayton Convention Center to return the marchers who participated back to the Drew Health Center. In addition, free rides were offered on both fixed route and project mobility from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mr. Eckler also announced the planned implementation of the new RTA Route Number 64 Senior Mobility Service. Service began on Friday, January 30th, and will serve various senior citizens in the southwest corridor of Dayton. 8 senior centers will be served, and destinations include the Wesley Center, Westtown Shopping Center, Walmart, Kroger, and Meijer. Mr. Eckler also reported that in early February, the city of Dayton will be removing the pedestrian bridge over Ludlow Street that connects City Hall with the former Elder Beerman Building. This project is expected to last 30 to 60 days, and the RTA will be relocating electric trolley service back to Main Street until the project is completed. Mr. Eckler also reported progress on the RTA Rewards Program, RTA Smart Choice, and the continued growth of RTA's social media contacts. And that concludes our report. If there are any questions, Mr. Eckler and I would be happy to address them.
Hearing no questions, moving right along. Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
We now get to the Executive Director's report. Mark?
Just a couple quick notes of information. The fourth of the prototype buses is here. It's been in the shop being, getting its final assembly, I'll call it, before it can be turned loose. It needs graphics and things like that. But it is here, so we're getting closer and closer to getting all 4 buses operational. That's a great thing. I'm going to pass down the row here something that I would like Allison to say a couple words about, an award we recently won, and Allison and Julie, our wellness coordinator, got to pick this hardware up last week in Columbus.
So this award is the Healthy Ohio Workplace Award, and we received a silver recognition for 2014. And Julie Rossall, our wellness coordinator, and I was last Thursday to accept the award at the Health Action Council annual conference. And just to give you a little bit of background on how you really get this award is you, of course, have an active wellness program. You have an active wellness committee that focuses on the programs that you develop in your work site. One of our most popular programs that I'm sure most of you have heard about is the Fitbit program, where people wear the wristbands around their arms and get their steps in every day. And however they get their steps in, that's how they get their recognition and their reward at the end of the quarter and at the end of the year. We also do health screenings for our employees to keep up with the various things that they need to focus on with their health. And of course, as I said, the recognition. You know, for those of you who have met Julia, you know that she's a really young and very energetic person, and she really does a great job of getting our employees engaged in all of the work areas in the organization. So we're really proud of this award, and this year we're going for gold. So.
You stole my thunder. I was going to say that. The obvious next goal we have to set, and someday we'll maybe need to get Julie in for another presentation, because she's full of juice, that young lady, and I think that's really been the difference in our program. She really works hard at any hour of the day, you know, that employees want to get themselves in a little better shape. She's there to help. So that's really good. Final item, we had a schedule change for January, and Janet mentioned earlier the new Route 64. Well, there it is. There's our operator, Bridget Neighbors, helping a young man with his groceries onto the bus. So we've got the first day of service under our belt, and we had some folks take advantage of it, so we're pretty excited about that. And if there are unless there are questions, that's all I have to report this month.
Are there any questions? In regard to the physical exercise, you might have seen the 2 articles that appeared today in the Dayton Daily News dealing exactly with the benefits of exercise. It was in the D section of the paper, so it just reinforces the initiative that you're taking. Congratulations, Allison, and I also saw it written in the state newspaper, the Transport News, that we won this award. So that's wonderful. Congratulations. Okay, is there any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? If not, we then go to the public comments. And the first comment, I believe the first name is Jean. Is it Jean Rice?
That's Gary Rice.
Gary Rice, okay. Gary?
Actually, I don't have anything at the moment. I just filled it out in the event that I did come up with something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Good. Florence O'Brien is the second one.
I have 2. 1.
Excuse me, Florence. Excuse me, Florence. Start by giving your name and your address, and then you know you have 3 minutes from that time.
I have 2. One is the grocery bus again. This morning we had 2 wheelchairs on. Luckily, they were manual wheelchairs. If it was an electric wheelchair like she sits in, then you could not get a second wheelchair on it. Then there is the steps. Again, we get a ramp to get on the bus, but this is a senior bus. When I first moved here, there were 2 wheelchairs in our building. There now are about 10. There were no walkers in our building. Now there are a good 20. If we go to take the grocery bus, a lot of those people cannot go up those 2 stairs. There is no way. Okay, they run on diesel. Diesel is very nice. But with gas at $2 a gallon, when I've gone by the filling stations, diesel is $4 a gallon. Now we come to Project Mobility. One day I got on Project Mobility. It was still when I was on a walker. There were 3 walkers on the bus, 2 wheelchairs on the bus, and then somebody got on the bus with a scooter. We had a heck of a time getting off the bus. We also need new Project Mobility buses. The buses are beginning to fall apart, and you're cutting them down? I'm sorry, Mr. Donahue.
I'm afraid I just don't understand what you're
Keep on
saying.
taking,
by
you're
cutting-
taking away from people that need it. Now, Mary Jo, who lives in our building, missed 2 meetings, missed a round trip. She got a call last week that her mother was dying in the hospital. She's in a wheelchair. She had no way to get to the hospital. Luckily, her mother survived. Her mother is 99 years old. And Mary Jo is the one that goes out 2 and 3 times to see her mother. So it's vital that she gets Project Mobility. Instead of being, you can't take it, Project Mobility.
Time.
Florence, thank you. I think we as a board got the gist of everything you've been relaying to us, and I recommend you talk to the staff after the meeting with more specifics. And
You know, I really feel bad for Mary Jo. Her mother is 99 years old,
okay,
and Mary Jo is the one that's keeping her mother alive.
okay.
Well, we'll worry, if Mary Jo isn't currently certified as eligible, that's something we can get, a certification set
You know,
up.
she's the one that's keeping her mother alive.
We're happy to work with her. We just need to know these things.
Okay.
I hope my kids come to see me when I end up in a nursing home like that.
Thank you very much for your presentation. The next person making a presentation is Lynetta Day. Frank, does the microphone work?
This one does not.
It's not working.
No?
That's okay, I won't say it.
You can, we can hear you.
Okay. One day I called Project and tell me they were supposed to pick me up at 9 o'clock. They was late, they didn't get there on time, they picked me up about 10. And they were really late coming to pick me, because I was supposed to get somewhere about 9:30. So they didn't get me on time. And I had called back and said that, they had scheduled my time for a little later to come back and pick me back up. I just don't like being late where I'm going. They need to get some more drivers for project and more filling, because them buses do be crowded. They need some more drivers. You need to hire some more. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Loretta, just for the record, can you state your address?
1465 West 3rd Street.
Okay, thank you very much. The next one is Ruby Thompson.
Yes.
And I
My name
also,
is Ruby Thompson. I live at 729 West Grand Avenue in Dayton. I work out in Inglewood, and I have some concerns. I've had 2 people that were stranded, new in town, didn't know how to get a bus, who to call, no number. I just happened to be there, to accompany them twice, And I'm just concerned, in my opinion, if they can put a sign where they go to the hub out there and set, and make the public aware of what number to call when they're stranded and want a bus, and how to get a bus to where they need to go. It's been 2 separate incidents, and I'm more than willing to help them, but there might come a day where I might not be there, and someone is trying to get a bus, don't know how, no number to call, none of that. This female said she just got up and took off walking, she didn't know what to do, and then she ended up back, she was wondering, and I just happened to be there. So I think it would be really nice if they can get signs posted in the shelters, so these people will know how to go about getting a bus downtown, and a number to call when they're stranded, but there's nothing.
well, thank you for that, and thank you for helping those
You're
people.
welcome.
And
Ruby, if you've got a specific location, because obviously the bus stop signs have that information, and we have you mentioned the Northwest Hub, but maybe you were.
Yeah, this is way out at McDonald's where I work.
Okay.
That hub that sits out in front of the.
Oh, the
McDonald's.
shelter.
Yeah, there's nothing, no indication of nothing.
Okay, we'll check that. Maybe somebody took the sign, frankly.
Yeah, okay then.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Mary Miller.
My name is Mary Miller. I live at 85 Ridge Road, apartment 41, Brookville, Ohio. I'm also the co-chair for the Advocate and Education Department over at Community Action Partnership. And one of our concerns are the pricing for trips out to the base that the vets are being charged versus the $350. We're finding it had been $15 and it has been raised to $29. And we're just wondering if this is some certain program that you are using Project Mobility to support, as well as get paid the higher price. Because we were under the impression vets ride just the same as any other citizen going to a destination that is covered by a fixed route and should not be charged an additional fee. Now, if it's a medical issue because it is going to the base hospital, this needs to be pointed out and basically just be told why it's so. Because that's quite a large amount of money to charge anyone to go to any appointment. especially since the fixed route goes out there. The other question we had was about the shelters, or lack of shelter, because the T-top and the wooden base, they don't protect you from any elements. A lot of times they're dirty because people stand on them, trying to protect themselves from the elements that are coming down on their heads. Because if you sit down on the wood, the wind, the rain, whatever is going to get you, because there's no circular enclosure. And we would like to see some of those made into enclosed shelters, because it's very cold out, especially parents with kids at bus stops. They're not protected from the elements. And it just doesn't serve the purpose that they're intended. The other thing, out of the Dayton Mall, they're trying to get the bus stop moved closer to the entrance doors. Is that something that Project Mobility or RTA's regular route or anything else can get community assistance with? Because if we know what you need, we will help get the property owners to work with you as well.
Mark, do you want to address that?
Sure, I can answer all three. The premium fare has to do with the fact that Project Mobility is a service that's designed to be equal to the fixed route service. We do not have fixed route service to the base in the middle of the day. So if a Project Mobility trip is requested for a time that's outside the normal service hours of fixed route, it's not just at the base, it's at any location, say Farmersville or Brookville, where we have limited services. The only way we can do it is to do a premium fare. At one time, we had some grant money. We were able to subsidize it down to $15, and that grant money's now gone. So if it's outside the service boundary for Project Mobility or outside the service hour boundary, we offer the premium service as a way to complete the trip, even though we're technically not obligated to do it. And that's a practice we've had in place for about 4 or 5 years now.
Is
So
there
it's,
some documentation in writing somewhere? Because it was the first time I had ever heard of it.
that's the Americans with Disabilities Act. We'd be happy to provide you a copy.
No, I mean documentation about what the prices are for your
Oh, sure,
premium
we
service.
can get you that.
Because when I got my Project Mobility Pass, I was told I could only leave Brookville at the 3 times the fixed route runs. I
Right.
was never told that there was a premium service if you wanted to pay a premium price. And you're saying it existed 4 or 5 years.
It has.
Is it in writing anywhere? Is it documented? Because it's not in the Project Mobility folder I was given.
I don't know
When
that
I
it's in the
asked about it,
Project
I was
Mobility
told-
book.
Yeah, but when I asked about this, I was told that it didn't exist. I said, so if I have a doctor's appointment and I have to leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning, because my pickup times are 5:50 a.m. or thereabout, and then the return time would be 2:50, and I think the other one is 4. If they're outside of that and you offer a premium, it should be documented somewhere in writing so that
It is.
anybody can get it.
Mary, we're happy to give that to you if you would speak to Brandon after the meeting. And if one of our employees told you that we don't have such a thing, Brandon needs to know that as well.
Well, I
He's
had
responsible for the
a
calls.
hearing with your employees over at Longfellow, and they basically told me, no, you have to go when the fixed route runs, and that's it. So I think everybody needs to be
If they were
informed.
describing Project Mobility,
They were describing Project Mobility. I said, what if I have a doctor's appointment? You have to leave at some time that concurs with your fixed route.
And that's correct.
return. But if you offer a premium route service, which is what you're calling this, it should be documented, it should be available to everyone so that everyone is aware of it, because evidently your staff were not aware of it because they told me it didn't exist.
please
Mary,
tell Brandon who those staff people were, because for the 3rd time, I'm telling you, we do have the information.
Okay,
Shelters,
I'm
if you have a
just-
specific location,
My
give it to.
point, and the only thing I'm asking is, can you put it in writing and make it available to everyone?
I believe it's on our website, but I'll ask Frank to confirm that for
Again,
us.
if you go through the Project Mobility process to get certified, and your certifiers are not able to tell this exists, I'm asking that you make it available to not only them, but to all of those that are certified, so you're aware of what's available. Because at times, you'd rather pay $1 million to get somewhere you need to be than not be able to go at all. And this is basically, you have no knowledge of it your staffers, when our requests are made and we're asking about it, we're told it doesn't exist.
Again,
Mary-
we want to find out who those people are so we can deal with those people. It does exist. It is not project mobility, it's a separate service.
Mary, I think we understand what you're saying, and maybe it's best that you continue that conversation when this meeting is over on a basis, and you can certainly direct them to it.
Shelters are Frank Eckler, the Dayton Mall. If you want to talk to the people at Advocates for Basic Legal Equality or the Access Center, they're the two organizations that are currently leading the grassroots effort to improve services at the Dayton. And again, if people have issues, I encourage them to call us,
Mhm.
not wait for the first Tuesday of the month to come here.
Okay, the next person is Sandra.
My name is Simon Smothers. I'm a citizen of Montgomery County. I live at 215 McDaniel, apartment 107, Dayton, Ohio. This is Kudai. Part of this, what I'm gonna say to you is a suggestion. I suggest you try it, and maybe it'll work, but it's up to you. But I'm gonna say that we down to, from what I'm understanding, 75 drivers in Project Mobility. I've seen 2 of the new drivers. But my sentiment is, before you take the drivers away from Project Mobility, have drivers ready and trained to drive Project Mobility before you send them to the fixed route. Because it's not right. We shouldn't, we seniors, we disabled, we handicapped, we shouldn't have to put up with the mess that goes on. We get piled on the bus, as Miss Day said, she said, we all get piled up on the bus, and sometimes there's no room. You got walkers, you got wheelchairs, it's a mess. So, you know, I think I said this to you last year, 2015, we need to get it changed. And I'm waiting on it. And oh, congratulations, thank you for giving another easy rider route for the seniors.
Oh, you're welcome. I believe we're very close to being fully staffed in Project Mobility. The runs that aren't staffed are filled at overtime, or they're run by other entities. I know you don't like to ride the bus with other people. It is a shared ride service that is, it is public transportation. But we do have an adequate workforce right now.
But I hope you get some drivers, because I can remember it one time, we had
No question, in the fall, we had a period of time where we were short of drivers. We now are very close, if not at, fully staffed.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mothers. Carla Pritiker.
Hi, Carla Pittsinger, 3329 Shady View Road, Moraine, Ohio. Can you hear me?
No, I don't think any of the mics are
Yeah,
working.
I don't think these are working.
Even ours are not
Yeah.
working.
Oh, they're not? Oh, okay. I'll yell here. My name's Carla Pittsinger. I'm with 3329 Shady View Road, Moraine, Ohio, 45439. Yeah, well, Melanie Burba, she said she would like to be here. She's with the Access Center, and our Community Action Partnership, they are writing a letter of support because Stan Hurdle from Legal Aid was there and spoke about. My thing is, yeah, I asked the question, I would like RTA. I asked, is RTA helping to support equal access to the Dayton Mall? Because I would like to see that here a little bit, because
Well, I have,
to me,
finish your comments.
it'd be great here. Community Action Partnership, we're writing a letter of support here, and Melanie said she'd help write that. But another note she wanted to mention is that number 9 is really crowded, and I take that here quite often. And like today, it was jam-packed. Again, I had people standing up, and I took a picture. I didn't take anyone's faces, but they were holding up, and I was standing up today because I have a cart here, and I was bringing my big cart today, and I always feel guilty carrying it, but you know I have a bad back here, and my older daughter says, "Mom, you look like a bag lady," but it helps me out. So I always regret not taking it with me sometimes. Anyway, I really want, if you can add on another bus to number 9, because just every time I take it, which is like 2 or 3 times a week, it's always crowded, no matter where I'm at. And when people have strollers and carts and things, I feel like, I should give them more room. But I tipped over today when they were making a turn here, and I hurt my back a little bit. And I'm like, to me, there's a safety issue here. I don't know how many people can be on a bus here. I've had to get out of the bus and take my cart to the back entrance of the bus and stand up, in the back entrance, the exit and entrance here, doorway here, because it's so jam-packed in the front. And I'm like thinking, please, please add on another bus to the line. Because I don't mind riding with other folks here. But when I see the safety and other people, a lot of people having to stand up and maybe getting jiggled around a bit or falling, that concerns me. And Melanie, there's times when she can't take a bus because it's so crowded after work or here and all. On that note, I had some other things, but those were my 2 main things.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks.
Thank you. If you have any further items, you may want to discuss it with the staff at the end of the meeting. Thank you. I think that's the last person I understand who wants to make a public comment. We then go on to any board member comments or announcements. Ed?
Mr. President, I would like to thank Frank Eckler and his staff for assisting the students at Wright State to be able to participate in the MLK March this year as they did also last year. I heard nothing but compliments from all of my students out at Wright State. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Any other further comments? Dave?
President, I just want to give my wishes to my buddy down here at the far end of the, Jamie, who she and I are the 2 City of Dayton. Yes.
All of you are going to be my age one day. I quite frankly think on the board, there should be a senior citizen.
What's your definition of senior citizen?
That can voice the opinions of the seniors.
Well, if it's 65, a senior citizen, I'm 71.
I'm older than him.
I got this. A Kindle Fire. You know how much fun it is trying to figure out how to use it?
But I admire you for trying to do that. That's a wonderful exercise.
My 10-year-old grandson.
So do the rest of us.
Well,
Mr. President, back to my comments. With Miss Simpson leaving, the average age of this board is going to go up.
Frankly, all of you are a hell of a lot younger than I am.
I like the comment.
But I will miss Jamie. She and I have been the 2 City of Dayton appointees to the board, and I wish her the very best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just turned 50, that'll help.
Oh, just
No, I
50?
just turned 50, so that'll help.
I'd like to make a comment,
Please.
please. To piggyback on Ed's comment, I'd like to thank Mr. Whitmore for his contribution and leadership in the MLK Day. It was very well attended, and it was just great. So thank you for your participation and your leadership in that program.
and allow me to add my compliments to Mr. Whitmore, who's just chosen to be president of the Adamus Board, a very important board. I was heavily involved over the years and still am in human services, and I am absolutely convinced if we could solve the problems that Adamus has to deal with, much of human service needs would evaporate here in this community, would disappear. And so all the best to you in those new responsibilities, and thank you for your willingness to serve on that board. Any other comments from board members? I don't think there's a need for an executive session. I'm not aware of any. And before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind everyone that the next board meeting is March the 3rd here at 3 p.m., and the next committee meeting is February 17th. With that, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So motioned.
Motion by Ed, is there a second to that?
Second?
Second by Sharon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.